All right, what is good, everybody? We are back on G'd Up University, the trio.
Yo.
Finally,
Yes.
all three in the studio. This is my man,
Dr. B. Harris.
Handsome Harris. Ain't that what they call you?
Handsome Harris.
There we
I'm
go.
Humble Harris. I'm
Humble
Harris.
Harris.
now.
Okay. He ate some humble pie.
Did he? Hey, it's good to see you, brother.
I mean, it's
And
good to be
your
seen.
your prep suit.
You know what? Hey, I came fresh from the classroom, literally. So,
There we go.
this is what y'all gonna get. And, being authentic to this whole academic vibe. So when y'all tune in, just know it's like, hey, if I ever drop something that's noteworthy, it's because that's all I do all day. So be like, hey, that guy with
notes.
the blazer on, he be saying some stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting to pick up a trend. Like, I'm always in the Dodgers hat. You're always in the blazer.
I switched it up
You
each
switch
time.
it up.
No, but
every
you had the
time.
bucket hat last time.
It wasn't this one, though.
No, but
Yeah.
you switched it up.
I switched it up.
But the silhouette is still like if they took a picture
Yes,
of
it'll
us
be the same.
and then did the whole like crop out, and then we had if that was the logo,
Yeah.
you would see like
Like the
your
NBA
cap,
logo.
The hat with
and
the
I
ones.
need the dad hat because I'm a new dad.
There we
And
go.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, let's take some time to talk about that. How's that been, being able to juggle your responsibilities?
Yeah. How's
For
dad
those
life?
that are in the same position.
Well, I come from, just I'm already familiar with juggling a bunch of responsibilities. In grad school, when I looked at your post about how you were able to have fun, work hard, play hard, so it was kind of like I was already used to making sure I was managing my time, right? That having that balance. But I would say it is important, and I've just started to do this, is make that time to take care of myself so that I can be the person that my family needs me to be. And so make sure you schedule that in, just like people got to schedule in eating and scheduling that. You got to make sure you schedule in that self-care.
Self-care, workout.
A little bit,
workout.
yeah,
For-
I work out, here and there,
You might catch me doing a plank or two.
For
How
how
long?
long?
I don't know.
Jinx, personal jinx. No, that actually wouldn't work if I jinxed you. Then you would just be quiet.
Yeah,
the
we
whole-
wouldn't have a show.
Damn. Well,
No, if
Forgive
anybody,
me,
if
dog.
any one of us were to be jinx free, whatever you call it, we wouldn't have a show. I'm not
okay.
saying because if I were to, it's me exclusively being jinx. But anyway, let's move
I
forward.
wanted to unjinx you though, but you just
I had-
started talking
All right, my bad.
unjinx.
All right, cool.
Uh-oh.
That's a dad joke for those who didn't catch that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
do you have a favorite dad joke yet? I know you've been reading books.
You've been looking
yeah,
up
you
Got to.
online.
Yeah. We
I-
know. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, I've been in that Barnes and Noble aisle laughing at the jokes, being like, "Oh, that's a good one."
Tell
There's
us one. What's your
there-
favorite one?
So the one that's on my mind right now is, why Snoop carries an umbrella, right?
Why?
For Jizzle.
Wow.
For Jizzle.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it.
For Drizzle.
Wow. Okay, that's a new one.
And sometimes if it's too hot outside,
He drops it like it's hot?
no,
Oh, dang. We're going back to 2002.
for shizzle, for shade,
Oh, okay.
Wait, what?
for shizzle,
I think there's a disconnect with the.
shade and shizzle. That's dad joke 2.0 because I have to. The more you have to explain it, it makes it even worse. So it's like for shade, for shizzle.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm
Okay, I think we'll
If that-
laugh more when we look back and listen to
in
it.
the comments. Tell me if that was whack or not. I'm judging it on how whack it was. So yeah, if it was whack, then it
Yeah.
works. If it's whack, then it works.
It's a dad joke. That's how we're going to judge that.
All right.
All right, what's the topic for today, fellas?
Okay,
How
well-
should we knock this out? I'm technology free, so
If you're on the quarter system, right,
whoa.
it's finals.
It's
If you're in the semester system, you're about halfway. So let's talk about
Yep,
that.
yep,
So
that's
for
right.
those of you graduating, congratulations for making this far.
Yes.
We've all been through that. So For all of you high schoolers, undergrads, and graduate students moving to the next stage, we got some tips for you.
Yes.
So let's talk about some of our experiences. So,
I definitely want to kick it off with this quarter
all right,
system.
let's do that.
The
Okay,
quarter
quarter
system
system.
sucks.
It does.
Big time. I am dying. So now when people dead serious,
You want some water?
man, I need something. So when people see me, they're like, God, you look so tired. I'm like, I'm tired.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
Yeah, like I'm tired. Like they're like, man, your eyes are getting blacker. I was like, I can't help it. I ain't sleeping. I got like 6 reports due. Everybody's calling me. Everyone's texting me.
Emailing.
DMs?
How's that? How's
No
that
DMs. No one's sliding into DMs. No social media over here.
Can we expect social media from you in the near future?
That is a negative, sir. But I'll continue to talk
So
about this.
that was a negative last time. You know what they say about 2 negatives, right?
Makes a positive.
It's a positive, so it's gonna happen.
Well, it's going to stay negative at the moment. Yes.
Anywho,
Yeah, so this quarter system is it is a killer. It's a nightmare. So I'm on the side of having to turn in all the work. You're on the side of having to grade all the
papers.
right? And tell people what to do. So I'm gonna tell you, I'm one of the guys that like hits up and tries to charm my way through my professors. Like, yo, I'm so sorry, I'm so busy. Like, I missed the deadline. Is it all right if I I'll slide in your email?
okay, I was gonna say something about
Not
that.
the
So
DM, but I'll
that's the
slide it in the
equivalent of
email.
Yeah,
no
because you
IG.
know it's already locked in Canvas
Yeah.
or
Like
on
so
Blackboard.
sliding on that Outlook. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, I get mad anxiety when it says missing or
That red ding.
incomplete. Yeah, like I start like freaking out, like anxiety kick in. I'm like, ooh, this is not good. And then when those grades come out, I mean, it's not the final one, but bottom line, the quarter system runs pretty fast. We have 10 weeks, and in 10 weeks, we learn really what a lot of people are learning in about 6 months, condensed
It's wild.
into 10 weeks. Well, actually, I would say 8 weeks because you have orientation or opening week, so you usually don't do nothing.
So read the
And
syllabus.
And then the last week, you're doing finals. And I'll tell you, stats is stats is a beast.
Yep.
So-
I have the pleasure of the semester experience and the quarter system experience.
Same here.
Right? Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you have, so you
Lucky.
got. So I'm gonna do mine, and you do. And
Yeah,
so
let's do that.
So at Cal State LA, they were on a quarter system, and that was like a shock, right? Because I was not prepared my first semester. So, high school, if y'all are watching this, anybody that is in front of the phone and checking us out, or even if this is your first semester, the spring is your first semester, you want to hit the ground running because a lot of folks that was not, that were not ready for that, that expectation, unfortunately landed themselves on academic probation. And that's a bad situation.
That's not the good AP either.
to be facing. I like that.
Wow.
So
I just heard a whole rhyme.
wait.
Yeah, I think you about to.
Oh, I
you
did rhyme a lot of
you
times.
Spitting.
Wow. No, seriously though, if you're watching this, if you come from a system that is not quarter and you think that you can, chill out and stretch before you start getting to work,
Nah.
please do not approach a quarter system like that, because I almost was on probation, but the EOP program really helped me out, had some good resources, had some good writing coaches. And I turned the charm on too. I used to do the sad face and do the shrugging the shoulders. If
Wow.
anybody that know me for years know that that's like quintessential Brandon move. Like, like,
Can I?
You posted that last time.
but yeah. So, but some professors that they do not care about the any of that. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
So I'm going to tell you, the worst professors were the lawyers, the ones that practice law. I swear to you,
'Cause they don't
they're
buy
the
it.
ones
They don't
that
buy
they're
it.
like, nah, you
gotta
got
prove
a
yourself.
deadline.
Have
you
a
gonna
whole
turn
court
in your
case.
deadline. Yeah, and then they make you justify why you're turning
And
it in
pull out a
late.
whole book of policies.
Yeah. So I picked the wrong profession.
To
Both of
wiggle
them,
out of,
law
yeah.
and public policy. I picked the wrong shit to try to wiggle out of.
But it can be done. We don't want to scare anybody from the quarter system. What about you?
Yeah. What's your experience?
Well, I could speak on my current experience in grad school. So I did something a little different because coming from, the semester system, I had, we have 16 weeks, and then quarter system is about 10 weeks. So just like what Brandon said, what these gentlemen said, you're hitting the ground running. And so you just enter in, the quarter, and you're already talking about midterms the next week. I'm like, what the?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
this is like my little trick. It's not really a trick, but it might, apply to a specific number of cases, but I think it's still helpful, especially if you're in grad school and you know what you're going to research. So when I came into my doctoral program, so this is me going into UCLA, into the quarter system, I already knew what I wanted to research. So basically, like all the research classes, your final paper is a research paper, right? At least in our program. And so what I did was I basically used the same template of the research paper that I did for that first class and recycled it throughout my whole program.
What?
And it's not like I'm just like copying and pasting. I basically tailored.
I'm speechless.
Damn.
But I tailored that research paper after each subsequent class based on the feedback that I got, right? So it's like, of course, your research is going to change, is going to morph throughout the progression of your program. And that's exactly what it's doing, because based on the feedback, I'm morphing and I'm evolving my research. And so even with all that, I still had to do a lot of work, look up a lot of new literature. But I felt like that was, the most efficient way for me to make the most use of my program, because I was able to get feedback and understand, different perspectives on how I could better articulate my research, my methodology, and all that. And that's what, enabled me to get to my dissertation right now, which,
Nice.
we could talk about because, we are talking about
Okay.
moving to the next stage, which is the racial wealth gap of college graduates.
I like that. I like how you segued and you bridged the gap between your experience in the quarter system, but also gave some good advice, which is the area that we want to focus on right now,
Yes.
right? So good advice. So,
So what are your tips?
I think it was like take the same paper, but adjust
That's
it
your
to the
tip.
new class, right?
Right. I think it's, in order for that to work, you got to know what you're coming in with, what type of research you want to pursue.
Okay.
If you're not sure what you're going to do, you could at least start with that and then, use that to see if this is something you want to do anyway.
Bet.
So.
Tips. All right. So number 1, use your charm. Tip number 2.
What if I'm ugly?
Yeah, what if we're ugly? Like,
No, I'm
you're
just
not,
kidding. What if charm
you're,
is not
not
your
your skill
skill?
set.
If charm isn't your skill set,
or your comfort level.
you might need to learn some charm. Just being real, because that's gonna get
So
you through a
basically,
lot.
bees love honey, and if
Yeah.
you're nice, if you're likable,
If
they're gonna work.
likability,
They're
go.
likely to work with you.
But let's bring it to
Likability.
psychology, classical conditioning. So over time, you're going to get used to something. So maybe you want to recite, you got to shoot your shot. So you got to practice on that shot, right?
Yeah.
You got to,
Well, can I finish my tips?
yeah.
Damn. So tip number 1, use the charm. Tip number 2, don't wait. When midterm is due week 5, I start that shit week 3. Because I tell you, it will sneak up on you, especially when you have multiple classes. I mean, I'm the idiot that took like 5 classes for what? I don't know. Trying
That's
to just
what,
finish
20
real
units?
fast. Yeah. Like,
the
I'm just trying to.
experience.
Yeah, I mean, I came in like underestimating the quarter system. Not to go back to that because we did transition, but I underestimated that quarter system. And I was like, man, I did so much more. I got this. And then I came in and I hit a wall. And that wall, like,
Hit a wall.
dang, that wall put me down. Like, my GPA dropped. Like GTA, but GPA, like, dropped.
I bet you never felt so low.
I did. Like Flow Rider. Low, low, low.
This is like
Man, that's some good tips.
I'm like dating myself.
dad jokes.
There we go.
That
I got something that I didn't hear any of y'all mention yet, but coming from a professional development background and helping students make their passions their paycheck, advice for graduates, since that is also in the queue, would be to look ahead, whatever you see yourself doing professionally, whatever area of focus you want to do professionally, whatever demographic or population you want to serve, I say do research on that population.
For sure.
So whatever you see yourself doing with your degree, you might not want to be a continuing academic and you want to just start your own nonprofit or your own company or partner with some individuals. Okay, research what the unmet needs in your current field and then solve those, or at least start the conversation in the papers and the assignments that you have the freedom to do. So if your professor gives you that autonomy to pick your own topic and pick your topic and send it to me for approval. By the way, if it's a passion project of yours, I've never turned down a student's. That topic is not, because who am I to tell you your topic is not valid? So you pick a topic though, but pick a topic not just out of the sky because you want to get the A or get this assignment out of the way. Pick something that you can leverage in the future. Pick something that you, like I said, if you have to start with the unmet needs that have not been met in your profession, focus on that in the form of the papers that you have to do, your research. And so now that you're kind of like a mini expert when you graduate because you've done, you gathered all the sources that are current, that are valid, that are credible. You have documented accounts of what other experts have been saying about the field that you are about to go into. Now imagine how you're going to sound in a job interview. Mm-hmm. Really, really knowledgeable. And so just think ahead, leverage all of these assignments. Be strategic. If somebody say you're very strategic, you're playing chess and not checkers. Yes, I am actually.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah, I am playing chess.
Every day, you're never too young to start playing chess.
So that's some of the to bridge that gap between college and career.
I agree.
And I think too, if you're pursuing academia like us three here, there's some tips that I want to do as a follow up to Dr. B's point. Is if you have all these research interests that you want to pursue, one of the greatest ways that have helped us, or at least helped me, there's programs like the McNair Scholars Program, Mellon Mays. Yes, they could only take in so many students, but they're not going to take any students if students don't apply. So please apply to those programs because, like for myself, I was able to not just get research experience, I was able to travel, and I was able to use that towards fee waivers for doctoral programs, right? And then speaking on the research part, save that literature because you never know when you're going to reuse it into your master's program if you're an undergrad going from master's or from master's to doctoral. And that's what I did. I was doing a lot of K through 12 research in my undergrad, but a lot of those foundational theories might pop up in other areas, and now my area is in higher education. And so you want to be able to cite your resources from the past work that you've done and be efficient. And so, going back to the way I did my research classes and recycled the same, research papers, I was able to, a lot of that, I was able to do because I saved all of my documents and all of my references so I could reuse that, because you're going to be reusing references anyway, especially if they're groundbreaking, important, impactful pieces of literature anyway.
I agree.
So,
So I'm gonna clap back.
Hey, look.
Don't cite, be cited. Ooh.
Okay.
You got to put some publications.
It's gonna take some time, but okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So to break that down, that is important, and to being cited is important, especially if you. So now speaking specifically to the folks who just love school, you're academics, you're those individuals that really are thinking about higher education and graduate studies. While citing others is great, as a matter of fact, before I get to that, still in the same vein of reference pages, when you go and cite another study, look at their reference page. Mm-hmm. Go shopping on that reference page. Just scroll. You open up somebody's dissertation. They got a 10-page reference page, and if your topic is similar to theirs, 10 times out of 10,
that's your own references.
The references are still going to be applicable to your topic. So
Yeah.
go dive into that, and that's going to save you time on the OneSearch and the library database or the Google Scholar or the there's so many other academic search platforms. But
Yeah,
did you wanna
I was going to
hop
add
in?
to that. I mean, when you're running late on an assignment,
Okay.
that's how you get your
So-
citations. I'm just dead serious.
And
you pick
Wikipedia,
one.
you take the references from
Nah.
Wikipedia.
Oh, you do that?
If they're legit, I'm not saying I
Damn.
do it. I'm just
You
saying
said-
hypothetically, if
Dang.
anybody was to get some sources, then you could do that.
That's like fast food references.
I mean, it's still
Oh.
food. It's still gonna feed you.
it might make your
Yeah.
stomach hurt. Though.
Hey, look,
Dang.
no,
You might get the
this is a
diet.
judge-free zone. Ain't nobody trying to be bougie.
No, I'm just saying, like you
With
might
some
get.
Google Scholar, peer-reviewed.
I'm just saying, like, I didn't know I had a choice. Wikipedia was like a bad word there. Like,
It is. It's a cuss word, but everybody cusses, right?
yeah, just
Yeah.
not on paper. Damn.
I mean, it happens.
What?
But no, in all seriousness,
Yeah.
to speak of tools that help you get resources or references and know where they've been cited at and vice versa, there's resources on campus. If you go to UCLA or any campus that has this service called Web of Science, you're able to trace the whole network, the whole, I guess,
The
reference
citing of-
tree.
Yeah. How many
Yeah.
times it was-
So Web of Science, put in an author, and it'll show them all of their research. Or I forgot, but check it out.
Yeah.
It's going to be very useful when you're trying to look for sources for your papers.
Yeah. So another tip:
And,
just find one research paper and use their citations.
yeah, but
You get your stuff done.
because
Don't copy.
Make sure
No plagiarism.
Yeah, no
yeah,
plagiarism.
don't.
Yeah,
Stuff
don't do
happens.
that.
Life is gonna life, and sometimes you might find yourself last minute on things. But don't make a habit of doing the quick and easy way, because
Yeah.
professors they can find out who phones it in. But to that bar that you dropped, don't cite, be cited. So in undergrad, I didn't know a lot of tips on networking, or I was too busy. I was like chapter president at Phi Beta Sigma on campus, or social. I was on the graphics design. I was on a committee with the BSU.
Did you dance?
That was just fun. I did all that stuff. Just type in Dr. Brandon D. Harris on YouTube. But anyway, no. What you want to do is start this early. Don't wait till grad school to go to professors that you see yourself emulating, or you like the work that they're doing, or you want to take it to you want to take what they're doing, their impact, to the next level when it's your time up, and connect with those individuals. Introduce yourself. Be cordial, because as those interactions, what you're doing, you're writing your own recommendation for yourself. You're giving that expert, that scholar, that professor something to write about should you need a reference, a recommendation. So it's showing up on time goes a long way. Integrity, following through, doing what you say you were going to do, it goes a long way.
Meeting for coffee. Just have
If
coffee.
possible, yeah.
And then asking if you can be a part of a research team. I was a graduate assistant at the master's level and at the doctoral level, and my supervisor they were also my expert practitioner for my study. So it's those connections. My study was on the Black male first generation college experience, and he was the director of a program on campus geared towards Black males and men of color. And so as an expert, he could inform and shape and let me know what I'm saying right or wrong. But I was also helping him out with the research as well, and I had a part in a publication part with that. And so you really, when I talk about don't just play checkers and move around freely, you have to be strategic. This is your future.
That's true. Very
So and that's how you become cited eventually, because you're connecting with individuals. They know that you're gonna need them as a rep. When a student comes with me and they're acting all nice and stuff, after like 5 minutes, I'm like,
They gotta go.
right. Yeah, they have an angle, and I'm not, because I was that same one, extra nice, show up in a suit, make sure I follow through, integrity, deadlines. Yeah, you want to do that because that's just the name of the game,
See, charm.
keep your
Trying to work.
integrity, keep your grounded in your morals, and you don't have to like do it running across a bridge to get a cheesecake
slide
for
in DMs.
You don't have to get a cheesecake for them.
There we go with these DMs.
I'm gonna go like this with that one because I was gonna say you don't have to run through New York to get a cheesecake for them, or hey, can you go grab this?
But let's elaborate more on.
Telling you, man, I was just waiting for the DM.
And
It was coming again.
Well, let's talk about networking. Networking outside of direct messages, aka DMs.
Slide in the
Right.
DM.
So, if you're working in student affairs, or if you just, you have a job in higher education and you want to go and network more with people, what I did was I used developmental funds for travel and lodging to go to academic conferences, because your job should have funding for that. So, be able to make sure to take advantage of that. So I was able to network with some folks at ASH, the Association for the Study of Higher Education,
There we go.
back in 2018 in Tampa. And I was able to meet some grad students, especially from different universities that I was applying to. So make sure to take advantage of those opportunities, because an email will help, but it's different when you're able to meet someone in person and you get to feel their warmth and their aura about them. So it's more authentic, and I think too, if you have a network of people that a strategy that I always use, and this could transcend to other areas of networking outside of academia. It could be also for a professional when you're out in the field, is if you have somebody you want to reach out to, but there's a middle person, a mutual person that knows both of you, I would suggest having the middle person introduce you two via email or in person, because the person that you're trying to reach on the other end knows that other person. So they're more familiar with them than with you. So that's a tip that I would also strongly suggest. And that's why people say to network with your advisors, prospective advisors through their grad students, is for that reason.
Yeah.
And this is network master right here.
Yeah,
man.
Everybody.
I mean, it's a numbers game. You just got to keep trying. So maybe we could elaborate on our experiences on that.
How would can we look at it from the perspective of looking at the question, what's next after college and how important that is?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, okay, let's
What's
talk about stories of employment.
Ooh.
okay.
Because, we'll start with some stories, and then we'll talk about some stats and some issues socially. So, for me, I didn't have my first job until I think I was 19. I was like end of my freshman year, beginning of my sophomore year. I worked in retail. I won't name the store, but it was a shit experience for me. Shout out to those who could work 20 years in that environment. Getting your food from the same fridge, looking at the same people and seeing them get old with you, but I can't do that.
Facts.
But I got fired after 3 months, but it wasn't for me.
Fired?
After
Yeah.
the 3 months of looking
3
at the same
Right
fridge,
before Christmas.
Did you make probation?
I mean, probably not.
They fired you
He's
before
still-
Christmas?
They fired me before Christmas,
Dang.
and I had just heard after I was helping other departments with carrying shit and moving shit around too,
Do you
because it was
know-
Christmas. It was a lot of
wait.
decorations.
Do you know how bad you have to be to get fired during the Christmas
But
season?
that person who fired me got fired themselves, so it was some shit going on.
Well, that's true,
Okay.
but still.
he's still not okay with that either. Do you see how he was like?
I still remember that fool's name too.
Bitter.
He did the Denzel mouth. I got before Christmas.
I just saw Equalizer.
Get your hands off me.
Damn.
Hey, look, King Kong ain't got
Get your hands
on
off
me.
of me. You better get your hands off of me.
Yeah, I'm
If we,
we gonna keep
Christmas.
an eye on you. We gonna have to watch.
I still remember that dog fool's name too. I
Dang.
still remember that. You called him a fool and everything.
Yeah.
he's all of that. But
Look, he was about to do the bite the lip. Oh,
Get your hands off. He told you was fired. He said, but no, you said you better get
Look,
your hands off me.
okay, in retail, I'm not trying to give it away, but you wear that that little belt with the scanner on it. I went to his office. I almost threw that shit.
dang.
Dropped that shit like fuck y'all.
So I'm narrowing
You know,
it
it's
down.
the holidays.
Yeah, I mean, it
did
has
you
to be
switch
like
up,
Walmart,
Man, forget this job.
Target.
Man, can we talk about
It's
this?
one of those.
Walmart.
It ain't the first one, though.
Target, Kmart,
You hit it on the bullseye.
Target.
I mean, I didn't say
okay,
it.
that's a dad joke right there.
But
Target.
hey, look, it's
Don't
gonna be
get
on the
it on the
podcast. It's not gonna be
bullseye.
on Instagram, but it's gonna be on the podcast.
Wow.
Let it be known. But look
Okay.
at us now. Look
So,
at me now.
I live by a Target. Target's like
It ain't that one.
underneath
This was
the building.
far away from here.
in the north.
I forgot what I was gonna
By
say,
the North
but
Pole.
networking. It's a numbers game.
We had
Wow.
took him off.
Hey,
took his off. Look,
went on a
so
binge.
yeah.
Nah, but
I mean,
for real, even with the go ahead.
No. I want to see the light at the end of this.
Okay, the
tunnel.
light at the end of the tunnel. Well, basically, it took me some time because it was dark for a long time. In all seriousness, because probably submitted maybe 99 plus job applications after that, and I couldn't find any jobs.
Yeah.
And this was a
99
rough time.
problems, but a job ain't one.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look, that's true. Wait, 99 problems on what?
But a job, but he ended up getting a job.
Yeah, eventually.
Eventually.
I mean, 99
I'm just trying to do
problems,
the
but a job
math
ain't one.
because 99 jobs, but a job ain't one.
I said problems.
99 problems, but a job ain't one. I guess that number 100, it wasn't a problem. So yes, correct.
Yeah, there we go.
99 problems and a job ain't one.
There we
so
go.
yeah, that if that
Y'all gotta
were
bear
to
with
be
it.
true.
It's been a long day. We do this
Battle
at the end
of
of the day for y'all
the
to
dead
to,
minds.
to,
Yes.
to learn and hopefully pick up some golden
Some
nuggets.
common sense.
But all right, here's the light at
From
the
the
end of the
trouble.
tunnel. So it was a lot that happened during that time. But basically, I had started at Sac State, went back to the community college, and then went back to Sac State. So when I came back to Sac State in 2013, if I had graduated on time, it would have been 2012. But that's another story.
But then we probably wouldn't have met. See,
I mean, it
It
would have been a
all
lot.
works
It's
and
just
our
cra-
producer,
Hey, look.
look,
yeah, see, and
even
so-
though he
Who,
got
who
the
you DMing now?
yeah, and you got the Sun Devils on. Is that Arizona? Oh hell no!
this is not fair.
You got
I feel like
ASU.
he's like, look,
He catches
Traitor.
strays.
my name is Paul,
Actually-
and this podcast is between y'all.
Wow.
He's like, leave me up
Leave
out of
me
it.
out of this.
But yeah, I came back to Sac State, and then that's when a million episodes ago I talked about working in the EOP program, Educational Opportunity Program, which is
Both of us, yeah.
low income, underserved students of color,
Yeah.
all that, which I loved because I was able to reach out and work with students that look like me, that look like a lot of us that are listening to this podcast. So that's how my career started. Started part-time and gradually moved full-time, and all that experience I was able to put on my CV, and then that's it led to this. So
Wait, you got to break down CV because there's a difference.
curriculum
CV
vitae,
and
CURRICULUM space VITAE, curriculum vitae.
spelling.
I'm a we
gotta
ain't
enter
some,
the
we
sound
ain't some
bite.
random fools up here. We
gotta
we-
put the
we-
sound
we
bite in there.
educated up here. Don't be fooled by how we dress up.
Some of us.
We got swag and intellect.
Spelling wasn't my forte though,
Okay, but
but you can still cite me though
we can still cite you.
Good.
because
That's
I got
good
some
stuff.
publications.
He
for
really
you.
does. He does.
At the master's level, I didn't get no publications until I got.
You still got one,
doctor's
though.
level.
You yeah. I mean, but
I got one
you got PhD behind your name. That's
EDD.
with the EDD.
damn.
It's the
See?
it's the
It's
applied
all those-
That's
research.
the applied
degree.
research one. They make more money with the EDDs, by the way.
I know.
Because
Yeah.
cause that's only because
That's a
we
practitioner.
solve,
Yeah.
immediate needs, and so if we can solve a problem faster, then they'll give you some money faster.
But yeah, CV. Let's talk
CV.
about that. It's kind of like an academic resume, but you focus more on your academic research and your academic accolades to be applicable to academia. Whereas
Yeah.
a resume is more work experience.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, like if you don't have the research, you got to make your work experience look like some type of research, so
Correct.
you can kind of get that research position. Because a lot of us coming in undergrad, not a lot of us are doing a lot of research.
But you know what you can also utilize as research. Every time they do a annual report,
That's
it's
true.
a published document.
That is true.
If you worked on that with a team, guess what? Put that as research experience in that resume. If you ever had to do anything that was published from a PowerPoint, I remember I was a research assistant for a professor at USC while I was getting my master's, and all she did was had me do the PowerPoints. But guess what? Once those were approved and published, technically, I
You
was
were-
public. I was
you
a
was
part of a
part of
credit.
the-
Yeah, and
yeah,
so
there
I
we
would.
go.
So as soon as somebody saw that USC, my name next to USC with Dr.
So and so.
Yep.
Make sure you get your credit.
So
And you never want to short sell yourself too when you're talking about applying to any type of program or any type of job. So going back to the CV and then what you talked about with publications or research, like it's simple. It could be anything as simple as you collecting data, because that's research. So
That's true.
I was doing.
SurveyMonkey,
I was collecting. Yeah. If you have any SurveyMonkey or Qualtrics experience, put that there.
Or
And you don't
just
even have to say it's for
Google
some school
Forms.
project.
Google Forms,
Google
yeah.
Forms. That's still
yeah.
a form of research because you're analyzing the data, or at least you're collecting it. You don't have to say which one you're doing, as long as you're part of the research process. Put that down. No one's gonna ask you about it, because what they're gonna look at is what you put in your statement of purpose or purpose statement, whatever.
Yes.
And that's where they get to, because it's so many applications going through. They're not gonna read into everything that deep. They're gonna look at your GRE scores, or at least back then, and then they'll look at your GPA. They'll look, read through some keywords,
Yeah.
and it's, we're in the digital age, so they're just gonna control F everything, right?
Dang.
Look for
Control
how
F
many times you say
diversity.
equity,
Equity,
inclusion, control X,
shit, hardship,
control. Yeah.
Let me get on a soapbox real quick about that, because as coming from our communities, coming from our backgrounds, it's just unfortunate that because we didn't come with a lot of the resources to begin with to get ourselves into very favorable positions in academia. A lot of the times we have to focus on our hardships in
Yeah.
order to say that we've overcome it. That's really
Yeah,
Kind
that's
of that
facts.
narrative.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of touched on this before, though, because I told you I'm anti-standardized testing.
yes.
I did the LSAT too many times.
I took the GRE 3 times. I mean, there's no shame in
many
that,
times.
except for losing out on money.
Thousands.
Yeah,
That LSAT was a bad experience.
and test prep.
yeah, I went to an unnamed source,
Uh-huh.
Kaplan, and it was the worst.
Hey,
I
They
said
got free
unnamed.
resources though, so I don't know what you
So-
pay for.
yeah.
What? No, it's not.
Do you go
I'm
to
not gonna-
YouTube?
It's-
I mean,
come
LSAT might
on.
be different though, because it's specialized.
Yeah, like you got to train your mind to think like
A fucking
people that don't think
like a multiple
like-
test taker.
us.
Yeah.
My guys right here. All I hear is consistency, determination, perseverance. Like you took the test. You took the LSAT so many times. You took the GRE.
I didn't even know if I had to. Also,
more times than I only took it once, and so I'm just like,
Oh, don't try to you
But,
know that's a backhand.
is
You
it?
only took it once.
Oh yeah,
but I-
yeah. He got
but-
into his program only
Yeah, I mean, like-
doing it once.
but I was.
USC.
Nah, he got a point. Let's
let's go.
But I was a little, but I kind of but I was always, anyway. And so,
Smarter than us.
I mean,
no,
and
no,
handsome.
I was
handsome Harris.
I was actually trying to keep up. Like when I my whole senior year in high school, I was 16 years old. And so everybody is a little bit more advanced. So I'm always trying to catch up. I turned 17 in May, and then I graduate. So when I get to college in the fall, I'm 17 for a whole year. So I was a little bit younger, shorter, right? So there were some disadvantages there.
Wait, younger and shorter?
Yeah, I told you I made it my name so that I can.
Then he grew up. He got taller, and he became handsome Harris.
Yeah, it
Did you
sounds
see
very
how
much
short
like,
I was compared to Tupac? Tupac was already short.
I mean, you had that growth
Yeah.
spurt. It's not all of us did.
Yeah, some
I mean-
are still waiting.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's still possible. You still got to be positive, right?
No,
Facts.
no, and yeah, body positive. By the way, everybody,
Body positivity.
Everybody's diversity.
Everybody's
is
beautiful.
valid. Yeah.
We're not that kind of
proud of who
podcast
you are.
where we, compare people.
Brooklyn.
But what I like where this is going though, because I see the next area of our topic talks about differences and talks about preferences. And when I look at job applications, because I had some hiring power. I'm not gonna. I didn't judge based on names and addresses and where you came from and stuff
Right,
like
the-
that.
the right
but I
way.
feel like
Yeah.
it was just you show up from the job, your qualifications, your experience got you that interview. But do you feel that workforce, they have a preference, and is that preference fair? When they're choosing candidates, do you feel like certain hiring committees have preferences?
100%.
Yeah, even if they don't
They'll
admit
call
it.
it preference. They don't say, "Oh, this
They
is
don't.
not racism." It's
It
just
isn't.
that this person went to this school.
It's
or
called
grew up.
AI. That's serious.
All right, let's
Like,
elaborate
it's
on
about-
that, and then
It's about the algorithms, or however you say it. What do you say it?
Algorithm.
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 Yep.
I didn't find that
The
funny, by the
algorithm.
way. But
No, I'm just
that's
it's,
funny.
it's like the Ebonics effect. Like everyone say it differently. It's like the word telephone.
Algorithm.
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 Alga.
Like ghetto. I remember I was dating this a girl, and she was like, "Wait, say that again." I was like, "Ghetto."
Ghetto?
She was like, "It's ghetto." I was
Ghetto.
like, it's not ghetto. You sound ghetto. Saying ghetto. I was like, it's
Wow.
ghetto. And she was like, why do you say ghetto? I was like, I didn't say ghetto de la ghetto. And it was just this argument. So it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Sounds like a Mad TV skit.
Yeah.
Wait, say that again.
Yo.
Or heels. I was like, because I say to my wife, she's like, oh, wait, say that again. I was like, heels. So like, why do you put a W in heels? I was like, because I don't like saying hills. I don't want to say heels with my tongue like that. I'm cool.
W?
It's too proper, right?
Hills. No, it's heels. Beverly Hills. Baldwin Hills.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
no,
just
I
an
get it.
accent. It's a little good.
I thought about like heels, like the shoe.
Huh?
I
What'd you say?
thought you were talking about heels, like the shoe.
Oh, see, you said
See?
it like what? You said it like West
We
Coast.
know where your mind is all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Where's my mind at?
Heels and shoes?
Yeah,
I was thinking hills like Beverly Hills, Baldwin Hills.
exactly. They both have an incline.
Wow. Okay, next. Next.
I'll be telling like women who wear heels like to balance, like this is like a nerdy way of like looking out for them, but you got to walk backwards down the hill so that the angle what's that called, cancels each other out, so you're not like stressing out your calves. But
So you asked them to
we-
do that to see.
We
Like,
need to check the
just in
science
case
on that.
Y'all on a date.
I'm like,
and
if
a
you're
dog
if
starts
you're
coming-
no, this is like if with a group of friends, if your feet hurt, then face the other way going down.
Wow. I'm going to call Kim Possible.
Okay, then go kill. I mean, go call
go kill Kim
Possible.
Possible.
That's
Go kill
that's
Kim
a tongue
Possible.
twister. Say it. Call Kim Possible. Call Kim Possible. Call Kim Possible.
Yeah. No, I think I don't know if I would ever tell somebody that, but yeah, I'll keep it in mind.
I mean, you gotta have that confidence in that. To I mean, you're looking out for them. So why withhold looking out for somebody?
I feel it. I feel it.
I dated people that you say something like that, like this gonna be a fight.
How's that gonna be a fight? You're just walking down the hill with heels on. You're
Telling somebody what to do.
okay.
See, this is getting deep into
telling
the.
you,
You ain't
man.
telling
I thought
people. You say what
was
people
gonna
can do, which is
redirect
the
to
premise of our podcast. We don't tell you what you can do. We tell you what you can do. We're not telling you if you're better than somebody else because of X, Y, Z. This ain't. We're about empowering people.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
I like that leads us to this to focusing
Stay on
on the
topic.
redirection
Of the workforce.
the tip that I had. So
Tip.
with all this preference going on, and people try to disguise or flip narratives. I'm not hiring based on
Height.
this or that. It's just we have a certain look. You ever get that? They say something like, it just wasn't a good fit. But no one ever knows that X factor, that softer X. Like, what do you mean I wasn't a good fit?
Yeah.
It's because it is people hire. They don't just hire you because you can do the job. They hire you because if you're likable. Like, cause you're when y'all graduate, right? You're gonna be competing with a cohort. Some of y'all in the same program that are graduating with the same degree. Mm-hmm. How are you gonna stand out? If that X factor comes down to, you weren't a good fit, it was just honestly, it was a matter of preference. And that's just true.
That's true
Hiring
story.
manager that are watching this right now can attest to that. If you have two candidates that make it to the last round, both of their resumes are neck and neck. Both have great experience. Both have great education. Both have good work history. And then it's going to come down to neck and neck the likability of that person.
Because what else are you going to
do? Yeah, what else are you going to
What other metrics are you basing it off?
Yeah,
of,
it's going to have to just be pure preference. Who can you see? Who do you mind seeing on a day-to-day basis every time you come to work? Do I mind seeing this person that kind of like knows their stuff, but they kind of seem like cocky or kind of maybe come off of an asshole? If times get tough on them, or do I foresee myself working day to day with a person who is going to be likable when times get tough and still be supportive and still? It could just basically come down to who's smiling most of the time during the interview. And literally they'll choose something like that. And so
you like to smile, right?
I make sure I try to smile like the whole time. Sit up.
Well,
as long as I'm not as long as I don't like, and how?
Wow.
Yeah. Like singing and dancing, but you still want to make sure you're anchored in your values, right? And speaking of values, tap into who and what you truly are first.
Yes.
For sure.
Know your why, and then go in when you're applying to those jobs. Go to those companies' website. Look at their value statement. Look at their mission statement. Do y'all use similar words? You might want to work there because now y'all have a shared energy. You have a shared perspective toward helping that population, and that is how you make sure you go where you're celebrated and not where you're tolerated. Because everybody can do the job, but do you share the same values? Like we share similar stuff. Like if you that is what you want to do when you graduate. So I see what tips are for the next levels. We're talking about employment. We're talking about workforce. If you don't remember anything, because I know we be going off on tangents, but if you don't remember anything, please remember to pair your passions, your values to the values and passions and the company or department culture of the potential place that you want to see yourself working is. Go visit. Go be a secret shopper in the department. Just go in there and be like, hey, can I have a flyer? But really, you're like really doing an observation project to see if you can see yourself working there. It's a two-way street. They're not, you don't just work there. You gotta be you're the one that's giving your time, some of your life, a big percentage of your life every day. Yeah. It should be a win-win. You have the power, graduates.
Yeah, and let's talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, because I do want to touch on it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, that is a true story. So, I mean, for those that don't know, I did social work with tribal social services, and that's kind of what got me into like government, law, policy, and policy development, because I saw a lot of things that I wish I could change, and I knew that I had to get more education in order to be more equipped to do those type of things. And it led me down here, but that was a very intense and heavy job. A lot of times I think I stayed for my kids, the ones I was working with, because to me, that consistency was more important, and I would sacrifice my own well-being because I wanted to be there for them, kind of like making up for when I didn't have people, I would advise against that because, we did talk a little bit about self-care. Self-care is very important. It's a hard choice, right? Yes, we do need to be lined up with people that share the same values, but we also have to remember, sometimes we're in a space for a limited amount of time, and we are purposely there to learn a set of values or a set of things, and that helps us get on to the next part of our journey. And for me, man, I would never take back working with my kiddos. We did some crazy, amazing stuff, and it was hard. It was hard leaving them, but I knew I had to do other things if I wanted to improve overall society, and it led me to work on the stuff that I've been fortunate to do thus far. But nice. I wouldn't be the person I am today without my kids.
Shout out to them.
Yeah. That whole experience, I would get into
the politics.
Yeah, and I mean, I lost a lot of kids. Some of them like passed away, you know, and I saw a ton of parallels between like the way I grew up in Compton, Los Angeles, and the way that they were living on reservations, you know.
Yeah.
Only
Scarce.
difference is you're in a tribal government and they kind of like make their own rules. And oftentimes when we were working to try to do what was best for our kids, sometimes we have to drop them back off in those places where we knew it wasn't the best for them because that was the policies and procedures that we had to follow under tribal government. And yeah, I mean, that's part of what motivated me to go further, to look into how can I change this from the perspective of public policy and law. What can I do on my end to contribute to ensuring that my kids won't have to continue to suffer in that way and that we can get better options. So I learned so much there. And it started with me having the shared values. And then it turned into me having my own passion and being able to form my own set of values from the values I initially started with. And it definitely was different from a lot of the agencies that I was working with. I started seeing those agencies motivated by profiting off of kids' adversities. And that was very difficult for me, you know, because I started seeing how many social workers did I
Can't pull up in a truck, right? Like you said.
Yeah. Like how many social workers did I have when I was a kid, you know, and then like it was re-traumatizing having to tell your story over and over and over. And you're getting a new case manager, I don't know, every week, every month.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So
you're doing more damage than more harm than help.
Yeah. And so like that's kind of like what guided me, you know, like I don't really share that too much because one, it's very personal. And two, you know, I want to respect a lot of like my kids.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Confidentiality.
Yeah. Well, HIPAA. I didn't say any names.
No, you didn't.
Oh, no.
I still know
De-identified data. Classified.
Confidential.
But let's speak on that because it is a very important topic, especially when you're following your values as you should. And it goes back to also Dr. B's point about knowing your values, because when you're applying for jobs, but especially when you're applying to doctoral programs or master's programs, anything in grad school, you want to make sure that you're not, you know, cutting yourself short because you're trying to look for a school based on its name. You're always going to hear that. But if you're not happy there, why stay there? You know, go where the schools are going to value and they gave you funding. That's when you know they're really going to value you.
Right.
But you know, when you're also looking at programs and you know you're looking at professors and their research interests, you also want to be the one in power where you're the one cutting off schools rather than letting schools, you know, cut you off from other opportunities. So you want to be mindful of the fact that, you know, I'm just trying to get from point A to point B. It doesn't matter what school I go to, you know, but it does matter in terms of how much they value and how much funding they're willing to give you. So use that, because I feel like that's going to be much less stressful when you're applying to programs. And those programs that are going to offer you money anyway, they're probably not going to cost as much in terms of those fees, unless you also have those fee waivers through McNair and other similar diversity programs.
Yeah. So real quick, let's because we're on that.
Yeah.
And I do kind of want to touch on this because I think this is so important.
Yeah.
Like, especially being minorities, how much do we disclose in our personal statements, and what is the impact of that? Does that matter when it comes to admissions, right? I'm going to say, remember what you put out there. It has the potential to come back, you know.
In your personal statement?
In your personal
Do you have an
statements.
example?
Yeah, because
I'd rather not say.
Okay, so
we're not gonna get
But just being
tune
real.
Tune in for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
other podcast.
Yeah.
It gets
you got to
After dark.
follow for that.
Yeah.
If you don't follow, you're missing out.
Dead serious though. Like when we are writing our personal statements, it is good to be authentic and it is good to be very genuine, and you should disclose some things that are personal, but don't sell yourself out so that a school can profit off of your adversities, going back to that.
Yeah.
And use that as a way to include diversity.
And put you on some article and say that, you know, we have this student here.
Oh, you know what?
Interesting.
You know what? I see where you're going with that. It's like when you're writing those statements to get into the college, and you come from a background where it's a non-traditional background, and you have to really like grind and struggle. When you put that information in there, that might get admissions attention and say, okay, that's data for someone who identifies as first generation. That's data for someone who identifies as a foster a student.
It's
that's
admissions quotas.
And then that goes into data for them to say, this is a percentage of students that we have on
for
board
this specific
grant.
And that's how
that's what
a lot
you mean
of
by that, right? That's
But
so without saying any names, like if there's a grant on board and you have to have this many percentage to say you're a blank serving institution.
Right, minority serving institution, a lot of them function that way. They're enrollment based on a specific population of students, and there's a certain threshold they got to meet. They get money for that, but they don't get money for the outcomes of those students, which is harmful. And we could talk about that in this episode or next episode, but I wanted to put that out there.
Notice what he just said.
Yeah.
They get money for students entering in the college that fall under that category.
Right.
But
what are the outcomes?
There's no accountability for retention.
What happens to those students that drop out? The money that they get needs to be reallocated into programs that are going to help those students graduate.
Right.
I think that's what some of your research is.
And it's not to take
right?
away from the efforts that are ongoing right now, because there are research teams, task force that are working on that. But for the current state of how many of these institutions are, yes, it's a toxic environment for students of color to be in that environment, to be pushed into college and then, get out of college with debt. But not only debt, but the double debt, where while you're in college, you're also paying for the expenses of your family.
Yeah.
So now, right? So
this all goes back to a message that I push, especially to my graduate students that are pursuing research or starting to explore their research topics. Pick a topic that aligns with your why.
Yes.
Right? Because when if you pick a topic just from out of the sky, or pick a topic
you're not going to enjoy it.
Exactly. No. You pick a topic that you think your professor is going to like because you want a letter of recommendation for them, your heart is in the wrong place.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when your willpower fails, you're going to have to tap into your why power. That's what's going to make you turn in those assignments, do that extra research, go that extra mile at 3 a.m., your why power. So that's why it is important to pick topics that are aligned with your why, because that's something that's never going to die. And I did not try to rhyme, but I said it on time.
You said it on time.
And in addition, that then there's a next step to that is, you remember when I said find those programs, those departments, those companies, those organizations that share the same values. While you're doing that, graduates or those that want to pursue grad school, EDD, PhD, you want to identify, once you say, okay, I share the same values of this program, this department, now you want to try to identify what are the unmet needs, what are the issues that they are dealing with, how are you going to help them meet their benchmarks, and then do the research.
Yeah.
Do the research that is going to help them solve those unmet needs, so that now you are more marketable when you graduate, because you're going there into the job interview saying, I've already done research on what you need to help this group or this population succeed. That's what I mean by being super strategic. Tap into the why power, because not everybody has the willpower, and also align your passions and your focus with those places where you want to work. While you're at it, do the research on that population. But every research paper has a problem of practice or a problem statement, right?
Yeah.
So you want to make sure, okay, what's going to be my focus? Well, that's low hanging fruit. What are the unmet needs?
Right.
when you add to and you have a solution to a problem that hasn't been solved yet, that makes you that more marketable. And then you sprinkle some likability on that, and maybe a blazer and a smile. Ding.
Wow.
You're gonna get some people interested in what you have to say. So
I agree. I agree.
But let me add to that, and it's going to be a little bit of counterintuitive to what you said, but it still aligns. And this is what I'm about to say here. So, you want to pursue your research interests, but there's also that that obstacle where, there's a school that you find yourself a match with, but and you're looking at schools and there's not a lot of people with the same research interests as you. So you're left with no options. So there's a way to finesse also to get into the program. So it's like a weigh-in for a fight. You want to make weight, but then you're not going to fight with that weight, right? Because you eat or you might lose weight.
You train for it.
You're training for it, and then you want to make weight, and then everything is different. Same.
But no, let's stick on that though, because that's important. Let's go right there. It's like just take that part out.
What?
The school.
Okay.
I'm gonna be real.
Yeah.
Ivy League is not for everybody.
It's not.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
Like I talk to people that go to Stanford, and they're like,
"Oh yeah, I gotta shout out
1%
Stanford GSC again for rejecting me twice."
Yep.
I ended up at the top higher ed program at the #1 public institution, by the way.
Yeah, no, but so I mean, not to
you be kind of petty about it. Too.
Yeah,
When you got
Yeah, Target, Stanford, they're both red. I don't know what it is about red. So
hey.
Yeah,
well, maybe I said too much.
but that's what I'm saying. Like just because while we were on that,
listen, I might apply. So just in like I can my work, I can do it.
They ain't got
anywhere.
nothing. Yeah, he ain't got nothing to do with it. So don't put him.
No, but that's serious.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean,
But you're
a
saying
lot
that
of people
the values are different from
Right.
public schools and versus private schools or Ivy League.
are just like going to a school because of the name. Like, I just think like that's BS, right? If you can get into a school that you really admire it because it's a school that like aligns with your values, kind of sort of like a job.
Has integrity, hopefully.
Has integrity and is not for profit.
We could talk more about that, but that I would, me personally, I would agree.
But I'm just saying, where you go to school and the comfort level that you have at that school really determines what you do with the rest of your life. I know people that have gone to a Harvard, a Princeton, a Stanford, and they were 1, 2, maybe 3% of the population, and they had a miserable time. And now they're stuck in jobs that they're not happy. But
because they're still the 1% there at the application.
Yeah, but they could say they went to Harvard.
Yeah.
But
So when
like
you say miserable time from their qualitative experience,
He
as
throwing
a
out
researcher,
research terms.
How would they describe their miserable experience? Would it be around lack of sense of belonging, or
Not lack of sense of belonging. It's no sense of belonging.
zero?
That's a bar.
That's
Not
serious.
lack, not just like
like,
I
there's
saw
no
a
lack
couple
there.
of-
It's
There's like,
negative
I don't
sense of
belong
belonging. It's
here.
they hate you.
Yeah, so I mean,
So
like,
so
okay.
there's a number line, right?
Yeah, and it's on the
is
other
just
side of
bad.
zero.
So it ain't positive sense
It's
of
negative.
belonging.
It's to the left.
That's like black Bruins. That's like positive sense of belonging. But then there's like zero, where it's like you see maybe
We're
somebody.
talking about
in
integers,
passing.
not absolute value, because that's always going to be positive. We're
But
talking
then you
about
talk about negative to where you feel
Yes.
like, because not the zero part where I literally walked past a black guy this way, and I got the vibe that we was gonna.
Yeah, -1 is
We
like
was
a
gonna-
mean look. -2 is like they say something like a
No, but this guy, he didn't even say something, and then I think I said I was like,
Oh, this is a true story.
No, yeah, no,
I
it was
thought
on
this
the way here.
hypothetical.
And then it was like, okay, because sometimes you can feel someone out there, you're gonna do the nod. So at home, it ain't this no more. That's the 90s. You don't go to chin, you just go down the forehead. And so I saw him, and then I did and then he just kind of, it was like one of these, like an obvious look away. And then, okay.
he ignored you.
No, and I'm doing better in my response. And so I said, or not.
Oh, did he have a response?
I just wanted to make sure a dude heard it, just to know, like, bruh, I'm acknowledging you on a campus where you may feel like out of place. I know you're not obligated to say anything to me, like, brother. I don't care if I was green as a Ninja Turtle, But if I see you and if I, out of just respect, just give you the acknowledgement, it's just like, you know, but maybe I was raised different. So I don't know. People at home,
now you was raised the right way.
In the comment section right now, they be like, I don't need to be compelled to speak to somebody just because I'm black.
Yeah,
like,
I get it. Maybe why you entitled to
maybe it's a generational thing, but we're going to get back to that later on.
Yeah,
that is real talk, though. I mean, I see
you talking about sense of belonging at Stanford.
Yes.
If I saw someone that looks like me at a Harvard, at a Brown, at a Stanford, I'm going to say, I'm going to give you the brother nod. Like, for those that don't know the culture, I see it's a, right on.
Yeah. No,
I got that a few times and I've nodded back.
You nodded. See, you didn't do this. You didn't do this.
No, man. If someone's being friendly, you got to be friendly back.
No, well, I mean, like
that could be your friend.
For me, honestly, like when you see another,
I was like, or not.
Okay. When you see another one of your own, it's almost like that acknowledgement of like, I'm proud of you making it. You know what I'm saying? So you
all in that.
Yeah, like you're just like,
it's not me trying to be like, ooh, boy, look at them skinny jeans. Like I was not even on that.
Are you?
I mean, and if you
are you picking on the skinny jeans because of me?
I'm not right now. I'm not picking on anything or anybody. I'm just saying I don't know. I wasn't, being like that with old man, old boy. I was just saying.
Tucked in or not tucked in?
Were you wearing that tie?
I was on my way here today. Like that's.
What you talking about? Just
okay, that makes sense because he was probably thinking you trying to sell him something there.
Yeah.
All right, he probably was like, "Oh, this guy's a frat guy."
Like, oh, he got a clipboard in his backpack right now.
He about to sell me.
You registered to vote in the state of California?
I'd be like, nope. Or I got my earphones and walk straight. I'm trying to get my workout in.
You know what? If that's the case, if you're watching, if you're tuned in, we're on your premises. I'm sorry if I came off a little bit of tax collector, signature collector, man. I just wanted to acknowledge your efforts, you being able to make it to a fine institution like this.
The number one public.
And that's
number one public.
Number one public.
But you're right. Everybody, it's all about perspective and based on somebody's nurture, their nature, how they're socialized. You can't. I couldn't. It's not right of me to project like that. Who knows?
But some people need to be raised better. Period, though.
Well, I mean that's true, but I do think it is a generational thing. I think, especially like if you grow up in different areas. So I do believe people are more desensitized if they've always been around diversity. So it's when you don't have that much diversity that you're around, or you're kind of isolated. Yeah. And you are the diversity. When you see your own kind, you kind of approach it in a different way because like that.
You're like, oh snap.
Yeah, like I mean, like that's another brother. Like, brother, hey man,
it's the look. But I caught it though, right? Yeah.
See how natural that was? That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but for a moment, it's like you look at me like, but then you're like, oh. Okay, yeah, like
it could have been that like walk past and he's just like.
But maybe it just never clicked. Maybe it was still like thinking about it.
They seen
I knew what that meant.
Yeah.
No, I did. I maybe I gotta wear. What does everybody wear these days? I don't know, man. I'm stuck
jeans?
in the '90s.
Skinny jeans are still in. Hence to why I'm losing weight.
They still gonna be in
skinny jeans.
I mean, my jeans used to be all baggy in the 2000s. Look at that. Look at this. This is loose. This is supposed to be loose.
No, like real talk, man. I was like
preference. It goes back to preference. Don't matter.
I was like 150, 6'3", and I was
trying
wearing
to give
a
y'all
size
his
36. I was wearing a 36, and like.
Well, you trying to slide in DMs right now?
No, I wasn't. No, I'm telling you, I look like a male skinny two-pick version of Missy Elliott. And that I can't.
Why
stand
is
the rain.
Missy Elliott catching strays?
That's tough to put together in one.
Well, I'm just saying because, like, man, like I just look back at those pictures and I'm like, you see nothing but clothes. Like you can't even see.
Oh, I see. You're talking about that music video with the whole big trash bag. That's what you're talking about.
I'm telling you. Just imagine that. That's like. Wow. But that's what I'm saying. I look like that. All you saw was face and clothes. Like you couldn't see it.
Yeah, he had the sunglasses too.
I mean, it was.
And he was doing I don't know what dance that was. That's like the Lil Kim dance too.
I used to stretch my T-shirts on purpose after I took them out the washing machine to make them longer, so I could like.
So you could dance.
Yeah, so because you had to. I was popping back in the 2000s.
Pop, lock, and drop it. Wait, what is it? Pop, lock, and drop it.
It was crumping.
Crumping. Is that a dance?
I wasn't
Is
wasn't battle dancing and crumping. I was like
two-step.
I was walking and
Okay.
you know, doing
Got that
all that
two-step.
like
Was
you
your
know, I
elbows
doing
out
West
because you
Coast.
from LA? You was your elbows out.
I had the footwork. You know, back when it was safe to dance
the
like that.
logo?
You can't really do that type of stuff because it's either like, okay, you B or C. Well, but
Yeah, I used to. That was my only dance. It was with footwork until I was told you can't do that. I was like, okay. Mad respect. Like I knew how to read the
because
room.
look, you don't want to hear lies. Elliot died because of dance. Like that's
yeah,
wild.
like that. Like I mean,
Over here all
wow.
skippity doing,
and that's
then
on,
you know
like,
you just
on the
walk up a
tombstone.
bunch
It's
of,
like
they
you
just
going
looking
like
at you.
this.
I'm just saying, like, read a room, dog. Like, if you are the square around a bunch of circles, you just better take that square and just be cool with it.
Ain't no tangent lines, ain't no congruent shapes. You just keep moving forward.
Yeah, like you ain't gotta fake the funk.
Yeah, you gotta lie to kick it.
But
There we go.
Yeah,
what I
so
was looking
willingness on back on in that is true. So in the education program, we had to, you know, we read the American colleges of, you know, we read all the books on the differentiation between state schools to private funded schools to Ivy Leagues, and they all come with a different norm. I've taught at all those levels, right? And from freshman, from undergrad to grad to PhD, to where they're like, my students are making more money than me, right? Or saying, "Lo, I got shoes older than you." That whole thing.
Wait, someone told you that?
It wasn't like explicit, like, but it was implicit.
implied.
It was implicit. Like, how old are you? I'm like, old enough to know research methods, and you got this assignment.
You got this assignment, dude. Like,
Yeah.
And so, but yeah. So there's just different. It's different cultures at different schools, and it's almost like you got to go into that knowing that, and then you just win in Rome. So I know here it was super diverse.
Oh wait,
right?
is time up, some lady?
Yeah. So look, how do y'all with that being said?
Oh no, this was a great.
How do you want to what do you want to segue into
The end.
to tell people about the next time?
Next
what to
time,
expect?
like
well, let's continue on the culture
Next
of
episode.
hiring committees. Let's talk about disparities in the racial wealth gap, and let's continue on talking about how to not just identify problems, but identifying solutions and some of the stuff that we're doing personally.
Yeah, because we was talking about a lot of problems this time around. So we're gonna hit you with some good, not only just that advice and those good jewels that we want to share with you, but we'll have some more solution-driven approach.
solution-based. Right.
Solution-based.
So
stay
until
tuned.
next time,
Till next time,
I'm Elliot.
I'm Dr. B.
I
Harris.
am Bernard, and this is
G'd
Up
Up
University. Peace.
Drop the